Hello everybody out there watching on the NNSCRA Sports and Gaming channel. I am Levi McIntyre, aka Thrash Maniac 99, the voice of NNSCRA Walmart Cup Series, here to welcome you to race number 25 of Season 8 NNSCRA Walmart Cup Series, the Sharpie 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway. 50 laps of racing here at the world's fastest half mile, and this should be a hell of a race for you guys to see. But before we get started, let's take a look at how the point standings look. Including this race, we got 2 races left until the chase begins, along with the Chase LCQ race. But after this race, we got 1 left. So this is going to be the first race where we'll see drivers up ahead and points get locked in. So let's take a look at those top 10 first. David Rivera took the points lead over Jessica Sheldon, and is leading by 13 points over Sheldon. Third is Dylan Young. Fourth is rookie DJ Curtis. Fifth is Sean Galligan. Sixth is Carson Gum. Seventh is Dylan Poteet. Eighth is Zachary Fitzwater. Ninth, Daniel Day. 10th, PJ Williams. Rest of the top 20 is Austin LaPlante, Seth Cole, Trent Dunham, Angel Navarro, Preston Plore, Charles Jackson, Danny Wells, Rue McIntyre, and Kyle Matthews. So currently the wild card drivers would be Kyle Matthews for having 2 wins, and then the next one would be Austin LaPlante for being highest outside the top 10 with 1 victory. Carson Gum, the other driver who is a 2-time winner, moved up into 6th place in points, so he's pretty much locked into the chase no matter what, either wild card or top 10. So there you have it. Kyle Matthews, however, needs to kind of get some good runs going in order to keep himself up there in the mix, because if he does have a couple bad races, he could miss the chase if he were to fall out of the top 30, but he is 20th in points, so he's a bit safe for now, but you never know what could happen, especially at a track such as Bristol. But let's take a look at the top 10, the starting lineup. Dorian Facepuncher starting on the pole. So good qualifying run for him. Next to him will be PJ Williams. Row 2 will be Seth Cole and Ryan Acosta. Row 3, DJ Curtis and Matt McIntyre. Row 4, James Silverfox and Charles Jackson. And then row 5, Angel Navarro and Dougie Shears. Starting in the last row will be Daniel Day and Dylan Young. So 2 Penske cars starting in the last row, so that ain't good for those guys. But let's go ahead and get the command to fire engines for the Sharpie 500 at Bristol.
Drivers, start your engines!
And there you have it. So this is going to be quite the race to see, considering this race is virtually a wild card for who will make the chase and who won't. Then again, Lime Rock is pretty much the same way itself, but in a much different manner. As we are getting set for 50 laps here at the last Great Coliseum, the world's fastest half mile. Pace car is in, and that means it's time to boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys and girls. Dorian Facepuncher leads away at lap number 1, and look at all this double wide action throughout the field. This is going to be quite the fun race. Bit of a breakaway from the top 2 back to DJ Curtis in 3rd. And DJ Curtis would love to get up there to the front and lead this race, because remember, at a similar racetrack like this at the Superdome quite a while back, DJ Curtis might have had that race won until lap traffic came into play, and it cost him the win and gave the victory to Sean Galligan. So DJ could be looking for some redemption, because after all, Bristol and the Superdome are so much alike. However, Superdome is basically Bristol on steroids, virtually. So there's that factor. So yeah, DJ definitely does seem to know how to get it done here at half miles like this with high banking. Meanwhile, Face Puncher still leading the way, and then back here, James McLeod, Chris Washer straggling in the back. Whoa, and Austin Mongold bounced off the wall. Whoa, cars on the apron. Careful, careful, careful. Okay, they're good to go. Must have been something that happened with the 16 as we're looking throughout the field, looking at things. So far, like Bristol, this race just zips along as we keep going. And Face Puncher still leading the way. And now Dorian Face Puncher comes into this race 22nd in points, fell from 20th after a not-so-good run at Michigan. But Dorian Face Puncher looking for his first win in a long, long time. And looking to get in the chase once again. He did make the chase last season, but didn't get a victory under his belt. So Face Puncher could be onto something here if he comes out the victor here at Bristol. Back here we got a battle for second. DJ Curtis has caught Seth Cole. And Seth Cole definitely needs a good run like this to get back into the top 10 in points to carry over bonus points for that victory he had earlier this season. I forget at what track. DJ Curtis, on the other hand, has been top 5 in points virtually all season long, but has not been able to get a victory yet. Could tonight be the night, like I said. James Silverfox, on the other hand, is just looking for a good run. He's 40th in points, so he's virtually out of the mix. Same with Chris Washer. Angel Navarro, who comes into this race 15th in points. He hasn't gotten a victory yet, but he's had a pretty consistent season. But he needs to get up there to the front if he wants to have any kind of a shot at making the chase right now. Then you got Ryan Acosta in the 10, running currently 6th at the moment. Comes in 36 in points. Has had good runs, but has just been struggling to keep consistency going. But he's currently running really good right now. PJ Williams, another guy who's in desperation to get a good run after getting damaged and a couple laps down last week at Michigan. Fell from 6th to 10th in points, so he's just hanging on by a thread right now in the top 10. But he could easily stay back up there if he comes out with this run he's got going right now. And there is your points leader, David Rivera, who took the points lead over after he got a 4th place run at Michigan, and Jessica Shelton had a bad run finishing a lap down. So that was how we had our first change in the points lead in quite a while. So David Rivera, if he comes out with a good run here, he is locked into the chase via points. So he'd be one of the first to lock himself into the chase if he comes out with a good run tonight. Zachary Fitzwater, on the other hand, needs to keep consistency going. He is 8th in points, but he is only 16 points ahead of 11th. So he definitely wants to keep getting a good run, keep good runs going in order to keep himself into the mix. Austin LaPlante currently holds the 2nd wildcard spot, being 11th with a victory. He could get himself into the top 10 in points and carry that win bonus points over for the chase. So good run going for LaPlante. Then you got Dylan Poteet, who just got back into the top 10 in points by having a great run at Michigan, moved into 7th. So he definitely wants to keep some sort of consistency going in order to keep himself alive as far as carrying over bonus points into the chase. Kyle Matthews, who's a guy who at the moment is in with the 1st wildcard spot, 20th in points with 2 victories. So as long as Matthews stays running like he is right now, and also for next week at the track, he got his first win out earlier this season, Lime Rock, he's going to be in the chase no matter what. Dougie Shears, on the other hand, who comes in 23rd in points, had a good car at Michigan last week, and then after that caution that came out, he just could not keep that domination going that he had in the beginning of Michigan. Pichu London, who had a hell of a comeback at Michigan, coming back after nearly getting wrecked out in the beginning, come back with a third-place run, moved up to 24th, but he would love to get a victory to get a wild card spot. Then you got Johnny Gardner, who's another guy who's pretty much out of the mix, comes in 37th in points. Still hasn't had a top 5 yet, same with Dylan Young. Then you got Chris Michaels, another guy who's pretty much out of it, and he's just struggled hardcore this season, it seems, as he just now got bypassed by his teammate Trent Dunham, in which Trent Dunham, currently 13th in points, fell out of the top 10 after a bad run at Michigan, so he definitely would love to get some good runs going in order to get himself into the mix for either the wild card spots or get in the top 10. Jesse Setti, who is currently on track in 17th, she comes in 33rd in points, and she's about 21 points. Actually, no, excuse me, make that about nearly 40 points out of 30th, so unless she can come back and get a good run here tonight, she is pretty much out of the mix for the chase. Danny Wells, who was a dominant points leader earlier this season, has started to kind of come back a little bit. He moved up to 18th in points. He does have a win, but he needs to get another win or just hope that guys ahead of him in points struggle and he can move himself into the mix for the wild cards. Then you get Tim Walsh. Tim Walsh, who currently is 27th in points. Unless he were to have a miracle, he ain't going to make it at least this way. He could make it via LCQ, but you never know. Then it's Jessica Shelton, who fell from the points lead after a bad run at Michigan, but she still is pretty much going to be in the chase, just as long as she doesn't really struggle hardcore here tonight, although she is currently scored 20th. That's not bad, but we shall see how everything goes from here on out for her. So that was a little run through of the top 20. Let's get back up to the front. And it looks like Dorian Facepuncher has encountered lap traffic. And that is helping for Seth Cole and DJ Curtis to reel in the 62. As this race continues to just zip along. As now Seth Cole has caught the 62 as a result of getting in the lap traffic and DJ Curtis entering into the picture. But also here comes James Silverfox into that as well, as he's getting ready to make a move underneath of DJ Curtis for third. Big run right now for the 34. Going underneath Tweenix teammate lap down machine of Matt McIntyre. And he's got a Tweenix teammate in front of him for second, Seth Cole. As meanwhile, Dorian Facepuncher's getting through the lap traffic pretty well, as it's less than 9 laps to go here at Bristol. But you got to wonder, do these guys have to pit at all? That's a big question. For now, the 62 is clear for the moment, as it's a good ways away up ahead to Anthony McCrory, who's the next car, last car on the lead lap. So 3 cars have gone a lap down. Dylan Thoreau, Matt McIntyre, James McLeod. Less than 7 laps to go here at Bristol. Less than 6 to go. Time is starting to run out for Seth Cole to get up to the 62's back bumper for the lead, but now Face Puncher has encountered a couple lap machines, Carson Gum being one of them, along with Anthony McCurry, and now Seth Cole is now back to the back bumper of the 62 once again. This is going to be big, as now it's going to turn into a 3-car battle for the lead. Face Puncher, Seth Cole, and James Silverfox. Seth Cole with the run underneath. This is big. Seth Cole with a run underneath the 62. But the 62 still hanging in on the high line, as he's getting like a bit of a push from Silverfox draft-wise. Seth Cole led the lap that time. 3 laps to go here at Bristol. If this were to be the finish, this would be incredible. The Face Puncher seems to get a bit of an advantage on the high line, just a little bit. Seth Cole still led that lap. 2 laps to go here at Bristol. The last thing Dorian Face Puncher needs is a caution. And the white flag is out for Seth Cole. Oh, he kind of slowed up a little bit. That helped Face Puncher get a bit of a run. Man, this is going to be intense. Face Puncher still hanging on, but I don't think he's going to get him. Checkered flag. Seth Cole gets his 2nd win of the season, and Seth Cole wins at Bristol, and they all just stack up at the end after the line. Unbelievable. What a finish. But man, you do got a feel for Dorian Face Puncher. The dominant car of the night comes up short. But Seth Cole gets probably a for sure locked spot in the chase, as he'll probably definitely move into the top 10 and carry over those 2 victories. So let's take a look at the rest of the results, as once again, you got a feel for Dorian Face Puncher, the dominant car of the night, and because of lap traffic coming into play at the end, ended up costing him a victory. James Silverfox with a great run in 3rd. David Rivera, great run in 4th. So David Rivera, points-wise, is the first official locked-in driver in the chase for the championship. So David Rivera looking to defend his crown from last season and try to go for 2 in a row and make history. P.J. Williams, solid run in 5th, so that keeps him in the top 10. D.J. Curtis, solid, great run in 6th. Ryan Acosta, solid 7th. Angel Navarro with a great run in the 8th spot. Zachary Fitzwater with a solid 9th place run. And then Austin LaPlante gets a much-needed good run in 10th, so that will probably put him in the top 10 in points, most likely. Rest of the top 20 was Dylan Poteet, Kyle Matthews, Dougie Shears, Jesse Setti, Danny Wells, Johnny Gardner, Trent Dunham, Pichu London, Tim Walsh, Jessica Shelton. Rest of the top 30 was Stephen Pollard III, Charles Jackson, Cody Lamas, Bob Jones, Austin Mongold, Chris Michaels, Michael Norman, Preston Plord, Sean Galligan, and Zach Rogers. Then the rest of the lead lap cars was Charles Sanford, Chris Washer, Tanner Sullivan, Dylan Young, Joshua Collard, Rue McIntyre, Daniel Day, Carson Gum, and Anthony McCurry. Then 3 cars a lap down, Dylan Thoreau, Matt McIntyre, and James McLeod. So that does it for our coverage tonight here at Bristol. 1 race left points-wise until the chase begins, and that is the road course of Lime Rock. So we're going to be heading to there next week, and that's going to be quite the race right there. But then after that, we got the LCQ event, where it's last chance for a good amount of drivers to make it in at Talladega. But until then, here are your results, rookie points, and regular points heading into Lime Rock. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off. Thank you for tuning in to the NNSCRA Sports and Gaming channel, offline racing at its best.